Action. Don't get shot now. We've been talking for at least 15 minutes.
Okay, I'm ready. You started it already. Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
How's
Why
it
am I
going?
so silly today?
You got the giggles. We back.
I feel like we say that every video.
We back. Trying to tell y'all we back.
We're staying consistent. So
Trying to.
that is we will.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not late, which is good.
Right.
It is Valentine's week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Feeling like love. I see. We forgot all about that.
Are you gonna ask me to be a Valentine?
Go ahead and tell the people.
Okay, so when was this? Last week? Last week.
Was it the 31st? I think it was.
Okay,
that
so
Friday.
I am drawing a blank, but I just remember being in your car.
Okay, start from okay. We went to go get PJ.
Okay, we went to get PJ.
And then we dropped him off with Mama.
Okay, so no. We were about to you were off that day. Yes,
yeah.
You were off that day.
Had a great
and then
decent round.
I came home and you were like, "How much do you miss PJ?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" You know?
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, "Do you want to see him?" Or like, and I'm like, "Can he get dropped off somewhere? Like, what are you saying? Like, who's keeping him? Like, what is going on? Right? What just happened?" Because I'm getting his snacks together. I'm thinking we're gonna come home and do this and do that or whatever.
This is before we go pick him up from daycare. So yeah.
So he's like, how much do you miss him? And I was like, I miss him, but like, what you got planned? So he's like, I said, are you gonna drop him off to your mom? And you're like, I said, my mom? He's like, no, my mom. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right down the street.
What are we doing? I said, so what are we doing? And he's like, I don't even know if you told me. He was like, I have a few things planned. I said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then I'm getting his little snacks together, and then he picks up his backpack, his Ninja Turtle backpack. If you know PJ, you know he loves Ninja Turtle backpack. And so then we get ready to like walk out, and I was like, oh, let me like throw some stuff in his backpack. And Paul's like, I already packed his bag. I was like, what? What do you mean? And I was like, wait, let me double check what's in here. Did you do this? Yep, I got that. Did you put this in there? Yep, I already got that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So then we get in the car, we pick up PJ, we drop him off to his mom's house. And then we come back and he parks, but he's still sitting there. And I think he might have been listening to music or whatever, just because we don't just park and hop out anyway. But like we're sitting in the car. And then he gives me an envelope. And it's so funny because, or envelope, however you say it. But
that's it right there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read it. But he is like, here. And I had just put all of PJ's work from school down in that same slot, not even realizing it was down there. Then
it's a small little envelope.
Literally like just this. And so then he's like, here. And I was like, what is this? If you know me, you know my love language is words of affirmation. So whether you say it, whether you write it, text it, that's writing. But like, get the message across because I need to hear it, right? So he wrote me the cutest letter. Look, it's like it's dated and
I signed it.
You signed it and all that good stuff. But super, super, super sweet. And the subject is Be My Valentine.
Yeah, hold on. How many people you think gonna pause the video
to try to read it? I thought because I would do something like that.
I know you.
I would do something like that. You know what? I will read the first sentence because it was so cute. Hey, you want to read it? Because he said I read it wrong. Because I was like, this is so sweet.
Okay, here we go.
Yes. Just like the first sentence.
First sentence. Let's see where I'm stopping at. Okay, it is. Okay, hey love. I've been getting your subtle signals, and to this point, I've ignored them on purpose.
Because I've been like sending him videos like, you haven't asked me to be your Valentine, or like, I mean, it was still early because I know some people don't ask until the day, but we don't even celebrate Valentine's Day like that.
No, we stopped doing that a little while ago.
Yeah,
it's nothing, against nobody else, but all the teddy bears and the chocolates, that stops, and that's because she didn't want it, or the flowers.
Because where am I
going
to put all these teddy bears?
Mm-hmm.
I'm too old for that anyway.
Well, she got enough chocolate, so.
Okay.
That was a sentence, right? Yeah, that's first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I cut you off though. Go ahead and read
No,
it.
that was it. That was the first sentence. Right
no, baby. I'm sorry. I meant up until there.
Okay. Next sentence here is: I've tried my best to keep this a secret, but you and your dang inclinations and questions keep coming. So she asking and she's sending these videos, and then she's like, well, why can't I go out on Friday? I'm like, that's not gonna work.
Because me and my friends make plans to go out on a Friday,
mm-hmm.
and I was Friday. Like, hey, this day. Sorry, I was like, when are you gonna be able? What's your schedule? What's your work schedule? Let's figure that out. And so I was like, because I'm gonna go out on Friday. He's like, Friday's not a good day. And I was like, why not? Because he usually follows it up with, I have a meeting, I have to do this, I have to do that. And I was like, but you're working that day, so like there should be no issues. In my head, that's what I'm thinking. Oh yeah. So I'm like, but you're off. Like if I say I'm going out on this date, I need you to make it happen. So then he's like, Friday's not a good day. And I was like,
but why?
He was like, it's just not a good day. And I was like, he knows me. That is not okay. I need more.
Yeah, she like.
So then, like, what is going on? Right? And so, that's what makes me mad. And so then he was like, just trust me. And I was like, oh, that's all you have to say. Mm-hmm. And I'm good. Right? And so, read the letter. It was so cute. And at the bottom, it's like, will you be my Valentine? Yes or no? Do you remember what I said?
You said you didn't put the maybe.
You didn't put maybe. I need another option. But of course I said yes. So I have a Valentine. I'm so happy to report. He asked me, and I said yes. So for Friday,
like 16, 17 times straight.
Yes, but that doesn't matter. You need to ask me every single year. Super, super cute ways. Ask me at all the time. Mm-hmm. Y'all ask me at all the times. Ask me every year is what I wanted to say. Y'all tried to do this little twist thing with my hair to give it some like waves and whatnot. So if it looks crazy, we just gonna go with it, okay? Yeah, you were about to say something. I cut you off.
I don't remember, but yeah, that was it. That was pretty much it. The idea came to me. I was, sitting at work, and I'm like, you know what? Let me write her a letter. Oh. So when I got some extra time, I was able to just type it up in about 10 minutes and throw it in the envelope and all that stuff. So I kind of cooked that up that same week. So maybe like the 28th or something like that, maybe 29th. And yeah, that was that. So.
And guess what, y'all? He is off on Valentine's Day. So what am I going to get on Valentine's Day? Who knows? But he's off that day. So I need to just trust him. He hasn't told me that yet, but I'm just going to trust him.
That's this week,
huh? That is this week.
Yeah.
No pressure.
I don't know.
Because I promise you, we do not do Valentine's Day. I sent him a Alfredo pizza that I want to make. Another thing, he does not watch the videos that I sent him. It's like salmon, shrimp, lump crab, Alfredo sauce pizza.
For real?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be fire. But okay. You excited?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Love is in the air here, folks. As we go into, I guess, the week of Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Well, we never really, we here recently, we don't really celebrate it a whole lot, but we just try to use it as a time to kind of recognize each other and just love on each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
Kind of been thinking about made us think about our proposal and, marriage and like that whole process of getting to that point, with us being being together since such a young age, I mean, it's,
you were 16.
I was 16, yeah, she was 17. So, we've been together for a long time, and just our different takes on marriage as it pertains to, could you be a boyfriend or a girlfriend forever? I don't think I could be a boyfriend or a girlfriend forever.
You would never be a girlfriend. No, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, it's just we kind of thought about that, like, could we be a boyfriend or a girlfriend forever?
That's tough.
Before us getting to this point in our relationship and just like in our time together period, I don't know what the answer to that question has been, but like now, for me now, absolutely not, because it means so much more to me. Like, being married and us being one, one flesh and moving forward into the future together, and then creating like life off of that. Being able to be blessed enough to have a family and a son right now, and potentially
for sure
other kids, God willing. So that unit, that dynamic, that trinity, if you will, husband, wife, and children. I mean, I think that's you gotta be married to do that. So that's a big move.
And I didn't grow up saying like, oh, I wanted to answer the question. Could I just be a boyfriend or see? I would be a boyfriend.
See, look at
girlfriend. That. Could I
talking with a deep voice like this?
That's how I am in the morning. Could I be a girlfriend for a period of time?
Yeah.
I would not want to go through life and just be a girlfriend. I feel like I'm too good of a person to somebody to just be a girlfriend.
Yeah. I feel like that's a natural progression. Like, I grew up, my parents been married. It'd be 34 years this year. You know what I mean? So it's always been there for me and my brothers and all that stuff. So
yeah, my parents were never married. My mom married later.
Yeah, that in my view, it's that was just the natural progression. So I never thought about, like, we always talk about this. Like, I never thought about getting married. I was 16 years old when we got together. I wasn't thinking about nothing other than that moment right there, which is something that we try to get back to, is like kind of living more so in the moment, at least me.
The simple things.
But yeah, that simple, what people call puppy love, like all we wanted to do was be together, and if we were together, we were happy. But now we get 10, 15 years down the line, and now everything else matters. Yeah. And we together every day, but that don't matter no more. So that's crazy, like, to try to, simplify everything back down to the lowest common denominator, like back in school.
Yeah.
Just trying to get back to that point, but that's a little bit of a tangent. But yeah, I mean, that was just the next progression in terms of what I saw for like a relationship. But Mario always yearned for like family and like, want to build our own family. And so I would say probably that thought process came from you first, probably.
Like
wanting to like kind of not wanting to be married, but like kind of aiming for marriage or beginning that, like, hey, look at this ring.
For me, like I said, like just being a girlfriend, it's cool, for a short amount of time. For me, I'm just speaking for me. But sorry, you good?
Yeah.
All right. I feel like I have so much to offer. Like, if I'm with you, like, I need you to be the best that you can be, and I'm gonna push you to do that, right? Very loving, very considerate, very kind. I'm speaking of myself. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like just naturally women sort of like push their guys to do them and be great.
Yeah, definitely a motivator. Definitely a motivator. And it's not, some of it is like intentional motivation, like you're trying to push us and like, hey, you got this, I'm holding you down, which Mark was great at that. But also it's the unintentional, right? Where it's like coming from me, like you just motivate me because I care about you a lot. I want to do just like if you have kids or whatever, somebody you're taking care of, a job that you really like, whatever it may be, because you care about it, you want to kind of lean into it and do a little bit more for it.
Yeah.
Than you would something that you maybe don't like or don't care about. So.
And I also think dating when you're younger and dating when you're older, two completely different things.
Yeah,
right?
our path is way different than that.
Yes, totally. So we high school sweethearts. So, and I still feel like even like then, I feel like I would have reached a certain point, in which I did.
Yeah.
And it was like,
we should talk about this other day.
So I don't want to be a girlfriend, right? Like, there's things that we're working towards together, and I just felt like we can't walk in that path and not be sync, and not be, we were already synced, but like be one, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and then you were like, I feel that. Page,
Yeah, we had, I would say, that we just talked about this last night.
Mm-hmm.
We had a conversation. I can remember it like it was yesterday, at least when it happened. Back in June 2015, we were still in college, finishing up our last about 2 years, and Mari popped up with a conversation on a random Tuesday afternoon after class one day, like, "What's your plan? What you gonna do? Where we going?" And I'm like, "Well, like we ain't never really talked like that. Like she ain't really never really got at me like that." When I say got at me, like she really put the pressure on and really like in a random moment, which let me know at that time this had been bothering her and she'd been holding it in.
Because I feel like women typically think about things for a while before we actually say something.
And like I said earlier, like, Mari was the one that
not everybody though
kind of leaned towards like, hey, we need to get married kind of thing. And I think that was looking back at it. I think that's what it was. Even in that moment, like say a couple weeks later, even looking back then, it was like I'm appreciative that conversation happened because it started our trajectory to where we are now, like kind of being more in step, in line with each other, like you said, synced up and like working together towards something. And it was a conversation. I didn't like it in the moment because I felt like she was challenging me and who I was and how I'm getting down and all that kind of stuff. I talked to my mom about it and she calmed me down and it helped me to see it.
What'd your mom say? What'd your mom say?
I used the same thing last night. I really don't remember, but I just remember the way I felt and then the way I felt coming off of that conversation. She also understood where I was coming from, but she helped me to see it from like a woman's point of view and kind of like, yeah, hey, that's kind of where y'all are now. Like, that's right.
I think
we ain't really never had that conversation. And that was 2015, so we was both 23 at that time. Mari would have been turning 24.
And it's so young, so young. But still, that's just how I felt. Like, and I think the word I used was stagnant. I feel like we were just like
sitting.
And me, after, and he knows this, after a while of doing one thing, I get like bored, right? It comes with,
Same with me though.
Yeah, like with work, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, I need a new job. And Paul's like, no, you need to do something else within that. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't gone on a date for so long. I'm like, I need this to happen. Like, I get this. Yeah, we really start beefing, but like, I need to get out of this phase of just doing nothing. That bothers me, right? And I think at that point, that's what it was, right? And we were having a good time and all that, but I was like deep in my thoughts, like, okay, but where can this go?
Yeah.
What are we doing, right?
So she asked that question. Like I said, I didn't like it in that moment. And then calmed down. And then I want to say, we didn't talk about this last time, but I want to say that we had that conversation. That conversation didn't end on like solid terms. Like,
no.
And then we came, and then I called you back like either that night.
You just walked away.
Or we talked about it again that night, or maybe the next night or something like that. And it still didn't end on good terms. Like we were still like upset with each other. At least that's the way I remember it. And at that point in time, I think that's when I talked to my mom.
Yeah.
But we love our moms.
Oh, man.
It's crazy. But yeah. So after talking about that, kind of debriefing on it, I look back on it, and I didn't appreciate the way she brought it to me, but I appreciate that she did bring it to me because again, it started our trajectory towards where we are now.
Yeah.
And so from there, after that, it was no more questions, and that was the only question ever. And it was no more. She was just lock and step with me. She held me down from that point forward, all the way, even after we graduated, like 2 years later, all the way through my next journey of like, growing closer to God and, getting my experiences in terms of interviewing for like 2 years before I had a second part-time job at the time, and then a full-time job from there. And all of that was a struggle because, people got stuff to say. People got different viewpoints. People, got different opinions and stuff like that. And Mari shielded a lot of that from me. Like, I didn't know nearly as much was going on. Nothing crazy like people trying to come get us or nothing like that. But it's just like, I didn't know what was going on. And especially to me, that's a vulnerable space for me because, like, as a man, you want to be able to hold it down. But meanwhile,
and as a young man, I think specifically trying to, like, people say, like, oh, you have to go find yourself. I think life is creating yourself. I think it's him. He was literally like trying to like figure out what works for him, what he wanted, what he didn't want.
Mari was with me,
career-wise and all that. And I started going to church with my friends, so I was coming back telling him like, "Hey, we need to do stuff like this. We need to think like this. We gotta act like this." You know what I mean?
That was a little before though, right? That was
a little before, yes. But yes, when we were, what you're talking about, we were on that journey. We were together. Yeah. And I think that day he was talking about when we were sitting in the car and we had that conversation where we not ended on bad terms. We didn't end, but
Yeah,
we kind of just went our separate ways.
And that was
meaning like 2 days.
Yeah, that was the only time. Like me and Mari, since we got together, when we was in high school, like we talk every day. That was the only time in our relationship that we didn't text or talk for like a day or two.
And believe it or not, we just started voice messaging like 2 weeks ago.
yeah. So it's like, we just keep going, but. Yeah, so
it was him. Can I say also? It was him coming back after talking to his mom and saying like,
"This is what the plan is.
This is what it is."
But
he'd been thinking about it. Yeah, of course he had his own thoughts, but he never relayed the message to me. So that just left me to feel like nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But he was like, "No, this is the plan," and he didn't even give me the full extensive thing. He's like, "This is my idea. This is and this is how I'm gonna get there. This is what I'm working toward." And I'm like, "Oh." That's all you have to say.
Yeah.
And I think that right there, because you never like failed me. And I think when you told me like, oh, Friday night is not gonna work for you when it came to like going out with the girls, and you said just trust me, I can take that and know that you're gonna make sure I'm good. And also like, hey, after the date, make sure you follow up with your girls and pick a date. You know what I mean? So it's like he's never not given me anything to trust.
Yeah, I think.
So I'm like, I'm in,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I had been thinking about that, and I want to say, was it that? Yeah, I think it was that same year back in March. What was that? The spring semester of 2023. I'm sorry, 2015 is when I took the class with my professor that I mentioned last time. That changed my life in terms of money and just a viewpoint, right? And it really clicked. Like, oh, okay, it's not. I don't need to be a millionaire in order to make these things happen, or like several $100,000 there to make things happen. I just got to be smart with the things that I do have, even from part-time work to eventually full-time work. And those principles that I learned in those classes helped us immediately. Buying cars and saving money and all that kind of stuff, right? And so it's to the point to where. Once I shared that information with her at that time, she locked in with me and she never moved away from that. And, I really appreciate that because, in such a vulnerable time, like I was saying, like, I'm trying like, man, I'm really challenged in my role, as a somebody who's aspiring to be a husband, somebody who wants to, give her everything because I care about her and, I want her to be my wife and all that kind of stuff. Struggling, not finding the job that I want. And then she was also with my dream too, with just going after, I wanted to be in recreation. It was nothing because I recognized what it's done for me to that point because of the time that God allowed me to be there, right. Even against my own will when it's time to, go and get a full-time job. She never doubted that. She never took me, tried to steer me off path or think about this. She just always stayed in with me. And that's
because I feel like
invaluable.
You told me this is your plan, and if I'm trusting you to carry out that plan, I have to be behind you and support you through that. I feel like a lot of people didn't know what recreation is. People still don't know what recreation is, and that's totally fine. But, that's something that you were going afterwards, and you were passionate about it. When it came to school, you were, doing these extracurricular activities that had to do with
I went to school for
recreation. Like, he was all in, and so I'm like, you're really passionate about this. You're going to excel in this. I'm behind you. Like, who am I to be like, you know what, I think you should be an engineer actually because they make a lot of money, quote unquote. Yeah. But no, you show me, hey, this is what it is, and I'm like, and this is where we're gonna stay. But that was you found, and for me, I didn't find that, and I think that was a part of it too. I didn't find oh, this is what I wanted to do, and I'm just gonna go for it as far as a major in school or this career path. I didn't say oh, I wanted to do this, I'm gonna do it. I kind of fell into what I was going after, and you were like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going after. So I'm like, cool.
But saying before I decided to go, to say this is where I believe God's calling me to. Yeah. I literally fell into it. Transferring from one school to another, picked the recreation major just because, got denied up front, had to fight for it, and not really fight for it, but just justify it. They had the hiccup.
And if Paul, if it don't make sense or if it's wrong, he's gonna be like, hey, this is what it is, here are the facts, and this is where I got it from.
Yeah, so it's it's just figuring all that. So then as I was working in it and then going to school for it, that's when it clicked. Oh, okay, this is it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I recognize now. And so then I was like, there's nothing else I'm going for. Like, I'm not going for no other job. This is it. And that's part of the reason why it took so long. Sure, I could have found another full-time job sooner than I did. But then for it to turn around and be the job, like, it's just heaven sent. The job is in the city that I'm born and raised in the area that I went to school at. It's insane. I don't even remember asking God for that. I'm like, nah, that's probably too much to ask. Let me just get something.
I think I did.
And I'm talking about this. It's nothing short of perfectly ideal.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It worked out, and I was like, I'm gonna be with him through this journey. Like, I don't care what it looks like. And two, I didn't grow up. I didn't see marriage growing up. Like, my grandparents were married, but my grandparents been old since I've been born. So, like, that's what it feels like. You know what I mean?
They're
and it's
still
like,
rocking,
and
though.
yeah, for sure. And they've been married
though.
for I don't know how many years. They're in their 80s.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, and I didn't see it, but I was like, you know, I think I might want that. And for me to have not seen that, I'm literally like creating what I want. You know what I mean? Like, there was no blueprint, if you will.
Yeah.
And everybody's marriage is different. So it's like a blessing, to be honest, that I didn't see that, because I didn't hold him to the standards, because, you know, my mom does things like this. So this is how we have to do, or, you know what I mean? Like, my parents are like this. But then he came from his parents, like you said, have been married for 30 plus years, and our marriage is different from theirs. But when I got around his family, I was like, this is family. He has 2 brothers. His family is very close knit. Like,
we just had a conversation.
I was like, I need this.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
pretty inspiring. And honestly, you know, not a flex, but a lot of folks who's come across our dynamic as a family, even like our friends growing up, have felt that and wanted to be around for a long time. My parents has always been welcoming to folks, you know, coming in and all that kind of stuff. Even when we had way too many kids in one spot, it was always, you know, with it. But then, you know, you can see people kind of gravitate towards like that space. And that let me know at an early age that, like, you know, we got something here. I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
But now as I got older, like, we was just having this conversation, you know, maybe a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago with my family. Just having a big family talk, and we was talking about, like, you know, like, I told my mom and my parents, like, you know, y'all got a superpower of, like, loving you for as you are. Like, you know, there is no blueprint that you got to match. As long as you're not, as kids, we wasn't in there cussing and doing nothing crazy or nothing like that. We just playing video games and being rough with each other. Don't make too much noise, and y'all don't be in there do nothing crazy.
Right.
But other than that, like, we just hanging out, having a good time, and that kind of bled to, you know, Mari coming around and same situation, and she gravitated towards that, and we're really close knit. So, you know, them just allowing us to be who we are, whether it's me and my brothers or Mari or whoever, my brother's fiance.
And your parents treat everybody the same.
Yeah, so it's
like, not like they give like special, like, you know what I mean? Like, they treat everybody the same. And so then, if they didn't, it'd be like, oh, that's obvious they don't like them. You know what I mean?
And so that's why I say that's like their superpower.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think that comes into this. So bringing that into my own relationship, I'm not really trying to set something up, because it's like, it's not, we have our own inclinations and proclivities, my big words here, towards certain things, right? Like, we might lean in towards this way or lean in towards that way, because that's what we were exposed to growing up and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a part of it. I'm not denouncing that, but, you know, not really having too much of an expectation and allowing us to be what we be. And we learn from everything. We learn from my parents, we learn from her parents, we learn from you know, grandparents on both sides. You know, my Granny Clemmy, you know, rest in peace. And that's, you know, she was so, it's just a lot, you know, it's a lot of, you know, we're just thankful for the village that raised us on both sides. You know what I mean? So,
and although my parents were not married, like, they made sure that I had everything that I wanted and needed, and I think that also kind of showed up in our relationship too.
You know, her dad is Johnny on the spot. Do you hear me? He could be anywhere in the world. He called me like, "Yeah, I'm right here."
Yeah.
How'd you get here so fast? So it's just like, you know, that's.
But you know what's so funny? Even my stepdad too.
Yeah,
like,
same, for real.
The exact same thing. Did it stop?
No.
Oh.
It's the pen.
The exact same thing. I can call him right now. He's gonna answer.
Johnny
if I say
Spot.
I need this, he's gonna show up. The same. I've been blessed with amazing men in my life.
Absolutely.
Pause, putting the pen back.
Yeah, sorry, y'all.
But you know what I mean? Like, and I think that also like showed me the kind of man that I want, you know,
Absolutely.
and like the qualities that I want.
And it helped me, like the men in her life, and of course the men in my life, my grandfather as well, helped me to be, you know, all of that for her. And like, you know, I see, you know, her dad right there. So like, you know, if I want her to be my wife and rely on me, I need to be right there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know,
Say it again.
Stepdad and all that. My dad, you know, we was just talking about this the other day too. Like my dad, for as long as I can remember, been getting up at 2 a.m. every day. You know, and he never late, on time, doing this thing. So, you know, that's a big deal in terms of like just leading by example and show like, hey, I'm not so I got the bug too. Like I got to be on time. You know what I mean? I got to get to it I can do that. So I didn't see my dad do it for 30 years. You know what I mean? So. And then my grandfather too, you know, who was young, you know, me and my brothers, we finished our homework, we finished our little math problems and our little writing or vocabulary or something like that. And he'll read it. Okay, here goes some more problems. God dang it!
Like I thought I was done.
You know, he gets some more problems. Oh, make your line straighter. You write
nothing like going outside after you come home.
Man, so you know all that stuff. I think you know adds just to you know the man I am, the woman she is. You know. All of our influences. So, you know, thank.
Don't get me wrong. Our mom played a huge part too.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Woo, my mom's still my girl. Yeah. But like just being the type of woman that you need to be, because along with this man that you want, right? You have to hold yourself to a certain standard as well. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So everybody, you know, all our parents and grandparents, man, like, you know, thank y'all for really making this union possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because y'all had to make it happen first, and so we can be here in the first place. So
yeah, and I mean we'll go into this topic another time, but just how you were raised really affects your relationships.
Yeah,
the ins and outs.
That's a good. See, we got a bunch of topics, you know, getting out. That's a good segue.
Yeah, it's on the list
for another day.
Yeah, and I think the last part of what we wanted to talk about was like, you know, people typically get married around like late 20s, early 30s. I think our generation, that's kind of like what it is now. Really, it's like trying to make it and like trying to live comfortably, trying to be happy with your people and build these communities. We were how old were we when we got married? 25 and 26.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't change a thing. You know, so happy to still be married and happy and working this thing out, building these communities, our with our closest friends, you know, families, and just we got a solid unit.
Yeah, solid everything. Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything. I'm super, super happy to be married. I probably couldn't be a girlfriend for longer than after a year. I feel like 6 months in, I'm like, so you want to get married by what point? Like, what's your plan?
That's more now too, because you know, first of all, she's sitting here. You know, she got to sit next to me. You know, see me every day. She want to be with me, so she. I want you to marry me. I want to have your baby. So.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
You know, she just infatuated with
I think
I'm infatuated with her.
Yes. Tell the people the truth.
We really like best friends for real. Like,
yeah.
You know,
for sure.
That might sound cliche or something like that, but like.
So when I broke this conversation to him in the car, he was like, "What you mean? What's my plan?"
Yeah.
I thought we are. Yeah. It's just, you know.
Yeah. Back then.
That is what that is. But yes, this is my best friend. I can gladly say I married my best friend. The head of my household, who also is in constant communication with his head, Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. So I think that also plays a huge part. But
I think that's what it is, man. I mean, you know, everybody, you know, it's just, you know, got different takes on different things, and that's everybody's opinion. That's fine. But I feel like the I shouldn't even say feel like I believe that what's missing and what makes life more difficult is the lack of a relationship with Christ. And that's all of us. We all go through tough seasons.
Ups and downs.
We all go through ups and downs.
Times, yeah.
But the stronger our relationship with God is, the better off we are in those situations. Sometimes we're called to turbulent seasons where we're faced with different things because He's trying to prune us. He's trying to work in us and outside of us.
And sometimes you can see straight through those issues.
Yeah. So we go through those things. So if we're not absolved from that, we fall short. We don't read our Bible as much as we should. We try to read it every night. Days where we don't.
We go back and forth.
You know what I'm saying? We say, oh, we're going to do this. Oh, we're going to do that. But I think the important thing is just trying to get deep into it and really trying to study it. Like really study it and understand it for what you can, and allow the Holy Spirit to impart the knowledge that you don't have or the wisdoms that you don't have. So that's the biggest thing. So as I said earlier, love is in the air. And I think that, true love is comes from God, and it can't be created anywhere else. So, the love I have for her is only possible because the love that God had for us, and the love that Christ had for us, the love that our parents had for each other, and all that stuff all the way down.
Here.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? What was y'all doing 32, 33 years ago? Okay.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so it's just it's super thankful, and appreciate y'all for watching. Are we done?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, that's right.
Good stuff. Until next time, y'all enjoy the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
you guys.
It's time.
They probably won't see this until later. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Until next time. Bye. Is it gonna